Hello, welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to show you how I've planned my route for the Transcontinental Race. Now the Transcontinental Race is a self-supported bikepacking race across Europe, and it's a free route race. So you're basically given checkpoints and set parkour sectors by the race organisers, and then you have to make your own route. So I use RidewithGPS for this. So in this video I'm just going to show you how I use RidewithGPS to create my route. So let's get into it. Now, obviously, RidewithGPS is my preferred sort of planning software website. I've used this since the first edition in 2013. So I've actually done 2 TCRs already, and yeah, I used RidewithGPS both times. But I think my kind of planning has got a bit more refined over time. So I'll run you through. This is probably going to be a 2-stage video. I'm going to run you through the basic kind of planning, and then I'll go into a little bit more depth in the second video as to how I sort of fine tune things and little tips and tricks that make life easier when I'm on the road. Before I go any further, Redshift is sponsoring all my Transcontinental Race coverage, so big thank you to those guys. I'm actually using the ShockStop Pro suspension stem on my bike for TCR. It's not often you see suspension stems on road bikes, but I've been testing it out, and it makes a big difference actually. And I'm hoping over the course of the race, especially the off-road sectors, it really adds up. So without further ado, let's have a little look and start the planning. So I'll start off just showing you the website. The Transcontinental Race is run by Lost Dot, and well, in their own words, the Transcontinental Race was founded in 2013 by the late Mike Cool, a giant of the archer scene. It's a single stage race across Europe where cyclists cover around 4,000 kilometers. The race date is 21st of July. As I speak, it's about 9 days away, but by the time you're watching this video, I'm probably somewhere in Europe. So yeah, get on the tracker and have a little look. But they give you a rough outline of the route. So as you can see, there's 4 checkpoints and a start and a finish. So the start is in the Roubaix Velodrome in northern France. The first checkpoint is in Slovenia. I'm not going to butcher that name because I'm pretty bad at pronunciations. CP2 is in Bosnia. Again, I'm going to refrain from butchering that place name, but essentially it's the hills above Sarajevo where the Winter Olympics were held. I think it was 1992, around that time, maybe a bit earlier. Then Prevele, Kosovo, Çanakkale in Turkey is CP4. That was actually a finish in, I believe it was 2016. I actually started that edition and then I scratched after less than 24 hours. I just wasn't in the right place, so it'd be quite nice to get back there and finish that business. And then the classic finish, Istanbul in Turkey. There's the first 3 editions of the race finished in Istanbul before it was moved elsewhere. I actually won the last edition that finished in Istanbul, which is quite nice, so it's going to be nice to return there. So yeah, so that's the route, and there's a couple of parkour sectors. And yeah, they're provided by the race organizer. Oh look, there's me in Istanbul. So what I've done is I've downloaded to start all the checkpoints off provided by Lost Dot, the race organisers. I've uploaded them into RidewithGPS. You can see that here. So there's start parkour 1, 2, 3, 4, and the finish parkour. So these are the parkour. Some of the checkpoints are on the parkour. Other checkpoints are a point slightly off the parkour. So I'm going to, I'll add those in as well. So what I'm going to do to start with, I'm going to put all these in a collection so they're all in one place. So I'll go to collections. You can see I've already done some planning and various other routes I'm looking at doing and various races. But I've created a new collection somewhere. Here we go, TCR Parkour 2024. I'm just going to import the routes. So start parkour 1, 2, 3, 4, and finish. Add those in there, and you can see 229 miles worth of preset routes, and then they'll populate this map here. It takes a little while sometimes just to load up the image, and then you can get a nice kind of overview of the route. Now I'm not going to plan the entire route on this video, so what I'm going to do is the first stage for me would be plan sector by sector. So I go from the start to parkour 1, then or CP1, then CP1, CP2, CP3, CP4, and so on. So I'd have like 5 or 6 big chunks of the race, and then I'll fine tune those, and then after that I'll split them down. So the splitting down part I'll do in the second video. In this one, I'm just going to focus on how I'd look at planning a route in between checkpoints. Now I'm not going to do the entire thing, but I'm going to pick a couple of checkpoints which I think is a good indication of various different things you can use. So I'm going to go with parkour 1 and parkour 2, and so that, yeah, these are two. So basically Slovenia to Sarajevo or Bosnia. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up the first sector here, and as you can see, there's a start and a finish, and the checkpoint is actually on top of the mountain up here somewhere. I'd need to get the exact location of the organisers. I'm pretty sure it's one of these little. I think it's this one here. So we'll say it's that one there. The little hostel here. So I'll mark that up to start with. So before I go any further, let's get into the edit section. And I'm just going to drop a little POI. Bear in mind, it is worth double checking it, but I don't want to open too many tabs and confuse myself right now. So I'll just put this in as a POI, put the checkpoint in, control, that's normally a good thing to do, and I'll just put CP1. So there we go, we can see it on there. And now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to add the second parkour into this. CP2 is actually on the second parkour, so this is why it's quite a good example. So what I'm going to do is go onto the top left here, import existing. So if I click on that, you can then see that it's got a load of different routes on here. So TCR number 10 parkour 2. If I click on that and click add to planner, then it's just put it in there, which is pretty useful. So I'll go back to the first one here. So what you want to do is you see I want to start on the parkour 1. You can see the two different layers on the left here. So parkour 1 is a layer, parkour 2 is a layer. I want to go parkour 1 to parkour 2. So parkour 1 is here, and you can see if we zoom in, the parkour 2 is then, if I hold my cursor over the parkour 2 in the left hand bar, it highlights blue, and you can see this green dot at the start of it. Now if I click that green dot, it's basically just linked the two together. So now you can see we've got the start workings of our route. So essentially that could be a route to use. Bearing in mind you have got driving selected on the left here, so it's probably going to take you on motorways and things. I tend to keep it on the driving setting for certainly in the south of Europe for route planning, because otherwise sometimes it just sends you on really small little tiny paths and tracks and things, and the TCR you want quite a fast direct route. Obviously you're not going to ride down the motorway, although that did happen in early days, but yeah, driving is better, but you've got to make sure you're not on like roads where you can't cycle. So that's all part of the checking process. So now that we have this, what I'm going to do, I'm just going to rename it. So if you click on the left here, I'll put TCR number 10. I'll just put CP1 to CP2 and then save that. And now basically I do that for all the sectors. So start to CP1 and then so on all the way through. And then I'd basically, once I've got that, I'll go into it and I'll start planning a little bit more. Now, as you can see, the thing about the TCR is you kind of want to take a fairly direct route, but sometimes it's better to go slightly longer and slightly flatter than hillier, because you get higher average speed and it's less energy. So I find these Google Map layers really useful down the side here. So at the moment I'm on the Google Maps. The RidewithGPS layer is good, but I to be honest, I prefer Google just because I use it quite a lot just on my phone anyway. So it's quite good to I understand it really well. And in this instance, riding on the road, it's good. And also Google Terrain is a good layer, because that then gives you an idea of what you're dealing with. So obviously quite hilly and mountainous on the south of the route, but then you see up here there's a big flat river valley, so actually that sort of starts to indicate that maybe you might want to go for a flatter route. And so let's have a little look and see see if we can change it. So I'm just going to grab it and pull it over this way, and see if that makes any difference. And it's taken, well, 5,000 meters off the climbing, and it's given us 20 miles more. However, I think that's probably going to be a more realistic kind of route to take, nice and flat and fast. And the thing we can also do is we can look at past tracking as well. So I took this up from last year's Transcontinental Race, which, as you can see, took a fairly similar route through the Balkans. Certainly went through Sarajevo. The checkpoint was further south. Now, what I've done here, I've gone onto the replay, and if you highlight riders on the side here, it puts their route up and their track. Now, the checkpoint's a bit further over than it was this year. So the checkpoint for 2024 is in this basically northwest corner of Slovenia. So it was more central, sort of in the centre, north, like basically north of Ljubljana. In 2023, but we can use this as a good kind of gauge of where we should be going. So that's Christoph Strasser, the winner. Robin Gempele, he was second. Tim de Wit, he was third, and that gives us an idea. And Will Valsen, he's done like a totally different route. So it gives us a few options as to what might be a sensible route. And if you start looking at them, you can kind of see that most of them have gone through Zagreb, Ljubljana, Zagreb, and then kind of gone down this big river valley, which is looking like it's probably going to be the better option. The other thing we can do is use the heat maps. So heat maps, if I turn it off, they show you where all the riders have been in the last, well, there's all time, the last 30 days, etc. Not all that many people ride in the Balkans, so quite often you'll find some pretty strong lines on in the Balkans from people who are riding. So when they're like blue, really purple, it means a lot of people have ridden there. You can see a big outline here. That was from the accursed race I did earlier this year. So that's my own personal route. So you can see that, I know the area a little bit. So yeah, you can see there's some patterns forming. Again, following this river valley, there's a big road this side, which we could take, and there's other roads. You can see that there's obvious ways. The other thing you need to take into account with the Transcontinental Race is banned roads. So this is also really going to inform where you want to go. So there's a number of roads which are banned or you have road warnings on. This is kind of for safety, and sometimes I think they're banned just to kind of inform the route a bit and kind of manipulate where you're going. So you can see Sarajevo, there's some banned roads around here from Banja Luka, basically in towards where our checkpoint is. There's another banned road across here, so you can already see that we're kind of going to be filtered down a certain route or around the edge. And then there's a couple of other banned roads. Well, this one I think is a banned tunnel, a stretch of road into Zagreb, so that forces you not to use the main sort of way into Zagreb, I guess. I imagine there's a big sort of funnel of traffic and it gets quite busy. And then there's another banned road over here as well. So yeah, you can see that it's kind of there's a number of options, and yeah, it's kind of then it's a case of kind of filtering it down and seeing what's going to be best. So let's start with sort of the banned road areas. So this isn't going to be super precise because I don't want this video to be hours, but you can see it's taken us directly down this banned road here, and obviously we know already we can't do that, so probably going to have to pull across here. And you can see that there's some kind of pretty strong heat maps, so we'll go on them. I always keep an eye on the distance at the bottom here and the elevation. So 455 miles. Obviously you want a direct route, but you don't want to be super direct and just go straight over massive mountains when you can avoid it. The other thing I do, because I use the Google Man quite a lot just to check the roads, see what they're like. If you end up on a motorway, it's not ideal, and it can get you disqualified because obviously you're not allowed to ride on motorways. So I always just check as I'm going along just to see what it's like. Also gives you some expectations of what you can expect. So yeah, so I guess there's two real ways in. We need to mark these band roads here as well. So the band roads, I think it's this one down this river valley, this E661. Let's zoom in. Yeah, the E661, the one across to Vitesse, and the E73. Well, is that band? Yeah, that's banned. A warning and some banned roads. But to be honest, if they're banned, it's probably for a reason, and normally because it's pretty grim to ride. So the E661 is there. So yeah, it's going to be tricky to get down there. Vitesse is there. Probably going to have to go further over this way. Something like that maybe. So yeah, but that adds like 20 miles on and a bit more climbing. So you can see there's a lot of playing about to be done with it, and there's also some gravel tracks in there. So you can tell there's gravel by the color of the profile at the bottom here. So 454, 24,000 meters. That's probably a bit better. Let's just check that's not one of the banned roads. So that is R440. Where are we? Yeah, so that's this one here. The R440. So that should be okay. And then we'll just have to make sure we don't touch this banned road at the bottom here. So let's have a look at that again. As I said, I'm not really digging into super detail on this video. It's just an example. You can see there is some gravel on this section, so that's something to be wary of as well. I mean, you could take a risk and ride some gravel tracks, but they can be quite rough in the Balkans. So that's 348 to 357. That's quite a lot of gravel. So it depends whether you're happy to take the risk. I'm going to leave it there for this example, just because, like I say, time is kind of pretty key. This banned road, we need to avoid it because I think it finishes at this point here. So we can probably just drag it around like that. Just double check again on here. Yeah, so that's the point there, it finishes. So if we just skirt that should be okay. And then it has gone down this E661. Let's check it's not banned there. No, that's not banned there. So we'll zoom in a bit, and I'll just check this road because it does look like it's a bit bigger, but sometimes you never know. What could be a motorway in the north of Europe ends up just sort of being a trunk road. So yeah, it doesn't look overly big. I guess there'll be a fairly consistent flow of traffic, but not too bad. So yeah, I'll stick with that for now, for the purpose of this video anyway. Obviously, my actual route, I'm not going to give you exactly what I'm doing because I spent hours and hours trying to plan it. But again, you can see different options here with kind of heat maps, so maybe that might be a better option. Let's just check that anyway and see. So 451 and 24,000 meters of climbing. No, it's slightly shorter but a bit more hilly, so we're not going to do that one. I'll leave it how it was. So yeah, and then into the checkpoint, just check there's no banned roads around Sarajevo. Where are we? Sarajevo. So yeah, as you can see, it's quite in depth, and you can't just do this in one hit. You need to go over it numerous times. Yeah, it looks like we're safe in Sarajevo. No banned roads down that southern section, and that obviously links up into the parkour here, which is gravel, and the checkpoint is at the top somewhere. Let me just find that and mark it down. Where was it? I'm doing this off memory, by the way. I think it's up here somewhere. So yeah, so there's a turn off. Let's just say it's here, just for the sake of the video. Obviously, I do this in a lot more detail. I'm not actually planning it, so I'll put that marker in there. So yeah, so we've got the beginnings of a route now. Again, I'll go over this and I'll look at options over and over again. I'll probably try going further south and basically just keep an eye on that elevation and that kind of distance. You might not want to go through a city, or you might want to go through a city. It depends. I don't know if there's any banned roads in Ljubljana. I don't think there was. Zagreb, no, Ljubljana's fine. So you might want to route through a city just to get more resupply. That's always an option. Sometimes you might want to, you might have specific kind of like places you want to go to, like bike shops or things, or you might want to have a big city, so you can do a big like hotel, get food. It doesn't look like it's any sort of quicker going that way through Ljubljana. So I think I'll just go back to our original 455 mile route. I think this is going to be about right. Just need to check there's no motorways again, because I didn't check the northern part. So yeah, let's just zoom in, and basically I just follow it along, and you can see that there's been some, this will be a TCR route down here. You can see because it's just so densely populated with the red lines. That's not on the route, is it? So yeah, zoom in there, and as you can see, yeah, that's a reasonable road to ride and pretty beautiful as well. So yeah, I'll do this most of the way along, and I'll just check it, double check in and triple check, check 4 times. Sometimes it would route on the main motorway, not the side road. It looks like it's on the side road here. Yeah, you can just see there that it's on a side road. Again, totally fine to ride. There's even a cycle path if you want to do some gravel riding on the side. And yeah, and as you can see, it's put together a fairly good route. I think you can fine tune it. No doubt you can. Well, I know from fact you can save some miles. And sometimes you might kind of just shortcut a certain town, skirt around a town, go through a town. Maybe you go to the north of Zagreb and get down the river valley further along. You can see that there's many options. So it's something you just have to play with. So yeah, so I think that's fairly good for a route, a basic route. Anyway, just on a motorway here, just check this one. No, that's okay. That'd be fine to ride. So yeah, just go through, check it, and then when you're happy, you just hit save. And then you do this, as I said, for each section between the checkpoints. Make sure you're happy with it. Make sure you're not on any banned roads, anything silly like that that's going to get you a time penalty or get you disqualified. I mean, I've done this in 20 minutes. Obviously, I spend a lot more time doing this, and there's a lot more options. And it does take time. The only other thing I will do is I might just highlight the actual CP sections or the parkour sections, just so I can see them a bit more clearly on the map. So what I'll do is I'll put the cursor on the bottom of the elevation here. I'll highlight all of that, and I will change the color. I'll put it blue. And then I know that that's I can't tweak that at all. That is the parkour sector. And then if I refer to it on my phone, I know when I'm on a parkour, when I'm not on a parkour. I'll do the same for the start. So the parkour ends about there. Copy that, change color. And there we go. So yeah, I think that's a fairly good first crack at the route. So what I'll do is now I'll finish this video, and then I'll put another video out, and I'll show you how I then split the route down into smaller files, because you don't want to put a 450 mile file in your GPS. It just makes it slow and laggy, and sometimes you don't load all the file on. So I tend to do them about 100 120 miles or 200k, and cut them down. And then I'll show you how to put points of interest in, custom queues, and we'll just do some double checks and things like that. So yeah, thanks for watching. Hopefully that's useful, and I shall catch you in part 2.